This course is presented to you free of charge by TTJ Tech Services of www.ttjtech.biz and by Stir It Up of www.stiritup.com. And remember, stir is spelled with a U, not an I, so that's STURITUP.com. TTJ Tech Services and Stir It Up are pleased to offer this course to you to the glory of God and to the benefit of all those who listen. Well, all right, my friends. Well, praise God. Thank you, Jesus. And folks, welcome to Voiceover In and Out. We have today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and next Monday and Tuesday, all here in this Zoom link, all in this session. We're winding down with this course, and so I want to remind you to please be sure that you're subscribed to the newsletter at ttjtech.biz. That's the web address, ttjtech.biz, Bravo Indigo Zulu. And remember that, because that's how you're going to find out what we are going to be doing after Christmas. And we still have a little bit of time. If you haven't, if you have not ordered your favorite products and you want to do so, prior to the holiday, prior to Christmas, we can still accommodate that. And we still have the promotions going on the gold package and so on for a little bit longer yet. So get in touch with us if you want to do that. All right. There we go. I'm going to put the original audio on here right away because we're going to be talking about the Files app. So I might as well get original sound going. And here it is. Okay.
Done. Button. Speech
All right.
off.
As I said, we're going to be talking about the Files app today. This is something we need to cover for those people who want to use their phones and have the ability to do file and folder management and organize their documents and their different projects and so on. The Files app is the equivalent of what you would consider to be Finder on the Mac, or what do they call that on Windows? File Explorer or something like that. And this is the way we access our files and folders on the iPhone and iPad through the Apple Files app. Now, the Files app does not give you unfettered access to everything on your device. There are a lot of hidden folders and files that we don't get access to, and I personally think that's a good thing. Not that anyone was asking for my opinion, but I do think that's a good thing. You have access to what you need, and the location for your device itself is referred to as on my iPhone, or if you were using an iPad, it would say on my iPad. And that is where local files and folders are stored. The other place that's really important, and my favorite place to work with in the Files app, is iCloud Drive. iCloud Drive is part of the iCloud suite of services, and it allows you to store files and folders, organize them, create new folders and subfolders, put things in them, and it syncs across all your devices because it's iCloud. So that means whatever I put on my iPhone or iPad in iCloud Drive in the Files app, they'll sync across to the other device and to the Mac and everything else. Very, very convenient. Now, as an Apple user, you automatically get 5 gigabytes of free iCloud storage, but I should point out that this is shared not only with iCloud Drive, but it's shared with your backups, your emails, and so on. Photos, if you use iCloud Photo Library. So there are some other things that share that. Not calendar events and contacts and reminders. Not notes. Not your purchased TV shows and movies and music and books and those sorts of things, apps, none of that stuff, but your backups do, your photos do if you use iCloud Photos, your messages do if you use iCloud Messages, and so on. So there are plenty of things that do share that 5 gigabytes, and so while that might be enough for some people, a lot of people are going to be very happy to know that you can increase your iCloud storage for just $1 a month, 99 cents a month actually, which takes you from 5 gigabytes all the way up to 50 gigabytes. And then you can have even higher storage tiers. There's a $2.99 a month plan that gives you 200 gigabytes. You can go all the way up now to 12 terabytes. And once you get above the, I actually think it's once you hit the 200 gigabytes, you then have storage that can be shared amongst your family if you use family sharing. And it's not one of those situations where you can see other people's iCloud Drive or they can see yours. Everybody gets their own individual. It's just that you're sharing the storage space. You're sharing the total amount so that everybody doesn't have to pay their own fee for iCloud storage. iCloud Drive is, as I said, my favorite place to store things, and it is beautifully integrated into the Files app. That's where I recommend everybody store things, and that's what I'm going to be working with today when I demonstrate the Files app. But I will point out that the Files app also integrates with third-party sharing services like Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, pCloud, Google Drive, and others. I think others. In addition to that, you can also use the Files app to access content on removable storage, including flash drives and SD cards, camera cards, things of that nature. Those can be accessed from the Files app, as can your file servers. Maybe you have some sort of a NAS. For those who don't know, a NAS, N-A-S, is a network-attached storage device. Basically, a hard drive that is connected to your network through Ethernet or Wi-Fi, and those are accessible through the Files app as well. There's a lot of stuff that we can do, and we can, any of the functions you'd expect, copy, cut, move, create folders, all that stuff is available here. So we're going to get started right away, and I'm going to get my iPhone here and show it to you. Give me just a moment.
Doc, messages, search, page 3 of SEP, page 2 of freeform, find my files. Double tap to open. More. Button.
I've opened the Files app. All right, we're about to take a look.
Recents, heading, tab bar, selected, recents, tab, 1 of 3.
I've touched the tab bar at the bottom of the screen. Like many other apps, this has a tab bar. The first of which is, the first tab is the Recents tab. You heard that.
Selected, recents, tab, 1 of 3.
What are the other ones?
Shared, tab, 2 of 3. Browse, tab, 3 of 3.
So on an iPhone, that's how it's laid out. 3 tabs across the bottom: Recents, Shared, and Browse. The Recents tab, as its name suggests, displays all the most recent things you've worked on in the order that they were last either added to the Files app or that they were last opened or modified. The Shared tab shows you a view of everything that either you have shared with others or that other people have shared with you. And of course, the Browse tab is where you can choose your location and start working. So just to give you a quick sample of the Recents tab, which we're already in.
Recents, heading.
I've touched the upper left there.
More, button.
There is a More button at the very top.
More.
Let's see what
button.
it has in it.
Select, button. Scan documents, button. Connect to server, but selected. Icons, list, but name, button. Kind, but selected. Date, newest to oldest. Size, button. Tags, button. View options, button. Dismiss context menu.
So there's
button.
a number of options that affect how we are viewing what we have in the Files app, right? The sorting options, name, date, newest to oldest. You know, are they viewed as a list, or how are they viewed? And also, you heard the view options, which would give you even more choices, though I'm not going to go into that right now for the sake of time. We had an option in there. In fact, let me go back and make sure I'm not missing anything here.
Selected icon kind.
Yeah, view it as an icon. Okay, the date. Oh, tags I wanted to talk about. I'm going to explain what tags are in a little bit, but I really, really like tags. I think tags are a great way to organize your folders and your files in the Files app. So I'll show you what those do. Basically, they're little descriptions you can put on a file or a folder. Now, the other thing you heard in there was connect to server. And again, that allows you to connect to you know, a network attached storage device, or a you know, a file server of some sort. And then you had the select option, which of course is that multi-select like we've seen in so many other apps. So you can select, you know, 5 or 6 different items at the same time, even if they're non-contiguous, and then you can delete them, move them, whatever. And the other option you heard was scan document. So that's another place you can scan things into directly, is into the Files app. All right, so that's the More menu. Now we're back in the Recents list here.
Recents heading. Search field. Dictate button.
And of course we can search. This
Double
is
tap
one
to start recent search.
of the few places where you don't have the search field at the bottom of the screen. Interestingly, at least not yet. Maybe someday, but not right now. So it's at the top.
Dictate button. Shipping label Baker. VO 2025 session 18 on GMT 20 VO 2000 GMT VO 2000.
Okay, these are
GMT,
recent
tax
files.
Info 20 GMT tax info 25 pages file LH underscore trip pages file finances 2021 numbers file 05 maps audio 12/3/.
And you can see in the recents list, it matters not what kind of file they are. You heard a pages document, a numbers spreadsheet, an audio file, other things there. This is just recents, and it's based upon when I last opened these things. And so any of these that I might want to open, I just double tap, and they will open in the app that was used to create them. Or if they don't have an app associated with them, they'll bring up a quick look, and then you can share them or do whatever you want to do. But let's now move on beyond the recents, and let's go to Browse, where we'll spend the good portion of our time here today. Down at the bottom.
Tab bar. Browse. Tab. 3 of 3.
Now let's touch the top.
Browse. Back button. Browse.
Okay,
Back
there's
button.
a back button because I'm already inside of something. Let's see what it is.
iCloud Drive. Heading.
Yep, I told you that was my favorite place to work. Let's back out of it for just a moment.
Browse. Art Studio. Browse. More. Button.
Now we have that same More button, but
Button.
let's see if there's anything else.
Browse. Heading. Search. Favorites. Button. Downloads.
Okay, so it appears there's not any. I want to go into that more because I think there's another option in there that I want to show you.
Scan documents. Scan. Connect to server. Edit. Button. Dismiss context menu.
These are different. There's an edit button here. Where did we find this? Again, we went to the Browse tab at the bottom, and then up at the top we went back as far as we could go, and we hit the More button. Now we're going to choose Edit from the More menu.
Dismiss. Edit. Button. Edit. Dismiss. Done. Button.
Now the reason I'm showing you this is because this is where you can turn on and off different things that appear in the Files app. So let's look.
Browse. Heading.
And you can reorder things too.
Search. Dictate. Favorites. Button. Heading. Expanded. Downloads. Button. Reorder. Button. Draggable. Double tap and hold.
There's a reorder handle there for downloads. It's under favorites. It's one of the... And you can put other things in there. I don't know that I ever have. I don't tend to use that. No particular reason why. But they've created a favorites section for me. And they've automatically put downloads there.
Locations. Button. Heading. Expanded.
Now we have...
Double tap to collapse. Actions available.
Locations. And it's expanded. And these things can be reordered as well.
iCloud Drive. Button. Actions available.
Let's see what our actions are.
Move down, activate, move down,
Okay,
activate,
so you can use
default.
that to reorder them also, but there's also a reorder handle here to the right.
Reorder iCloud Drive, button.
Now,
Switched button, on.
it's on.
Double tap to toggle setting.
You can turn it off.
Swipe up or down to on my iPhone, button.
There's on my iPhone.
Swipe up or
and this
down
one you
to
can move
select
up.
move up, activate, move up, activate.
Right.
Reorder on my iPhone.
On my
button.
iPhone, and
Switch
again,
button, on.
it's turned on.
Recently deleted, button. Tags, button. Faith, button. Reorder.
Okay,
tags.
we're going to come back to that. That's all that I have in here. I'm going to hit done.
Browse, done, button, done. More.
Now, if I had the Google Drive app installed, for example, that would show up under that More menu under Edit. And I could turn it on with its little toggle switch, and it might ask me to sign in again if I hadn't done so in a while. It'll just ask me for my Google information, and it may not. It may already have that, and it will connect the Google Drive to the Files app so that you can see it in the Files app. If I had Dropbox installed, same deal. It would actually allow the Dropbox location to appear alongside of the other locations here in the Files app, but you have to go into Edit in order to do that from the More menu. So I don't have any of those apps installed. I just use iCloud Drive. So then I can hit done, which I already did, and now we're just back to the main screen where we can access the things that we've turned on.
Browse, heading, search, favorites, button, heading, expanded, downloads, button, locations, button, heading, expanded.
And as you know, when something's collapsed, you can double tap it to expand it. And when something's expanded, you can double tap it to collapse it. If I didn't want to see everything under locations, I could collapse that. But I do want to see them.
iCloud Drive, button. On my iPhone, button.
And then we have
recently deleted, button.
Recently deleted. Things stay in there that you delete for, I think, up to maybe 45 days or something like that.
Tags, button, heading, expanded.
Okay, this is another section. It is called tags, and I told you I'd explain to you what tags are. So tags are friendly little descriptions that you can put onto a file or a folder. There's an add tags option in the context menu, and it allows you to organize things more specifically. So let me show you some of the tags that I have, because I think it'll be easier to understand what tags are just by hearing some of them that I have. So let's look here.
Faith, button. The Vessel, button. JSBS, button. Faith Summit, button. Family, button. Podcasts, button. TTJ, button. Purple, gray, red. Space Course, Apple logo, important. Home, blue, orange, yellow. Work, button. Titanic, church, green, button. Tab bar,
okay,
green.
So you can tell that I have a combination of different types of tags here. There are colors, and those were created for me automatically. The colored tags, red, yellow, green, orange, purple, gray, all those different tags, they were created automatically. I've added the ones like family, faith, TTJ, work, Titanic, Space Course, Faith Summit. These tags are ones that I've created so that any files that pertain to those specific topics can be tagged, and then I can easily find what I have tagged with that name. So what I tend to do, and this is personal preference, but I tend to have fewer folders and more tags, because I have like all of my videos, unless they're in the Photos app actually, or you know, like the TV app or something, but all the other video files, I have them in a folder called video files. But then I tag them. So this might be a video that relates to TTJ, and this might be a video about our upcoming Faith Summit in the summer, and this might be a video about the Titanic. So I'm going to tag them. They're all going to be in the same folder, in the videos folder, but they're going to have these different tags. So if I want to view files by tag, I just double tap on one of these. So let's say that I wanted
Church, Titanic, button.
Files about the Titanic. So I double tap that.
Selected, tickets folder, up, dictate, tickets folder, Titanic questions 2016, 2 items.
Okay, these are all files that are about the Titanic. Titanic questions, there's a folder of Titanic tickets that we made as part of a project. So that allows me to see all the stuff that is related, that is tagged Titanic. All right, so we're going to go back at the upper left.
Browse, back. Titanic.
So that's a bit about tags, and how you organize things is up to you. But I prefer to do fewer folders and then lots of tags. Now, sometimes you have to create folders because it's the only way. Like, for example, if you're going to share an entire folder with someone, you have to do that through a folder, not a tag, right? So we're going to talk about folder sharing here in a little bit. But let's just go on. Let's open up iCloud Drive. That is the main place where I store just about everything. Anything that it's possible to store there, I do. Now, there are some apps that automatically store locally instead, and then they are in the on my iPhone folder, and sometimes I'll make a folder for them in iCloud also, so I can move things there. But basically, anything it's possible to store in iCloud, I do. You're also going to learn that certain apps automatically create folders in iCloud Drive the first time you use those apps. And these include things like Pages, Numbers, Keynote, and many others. Folders that are created by and associated with an app are technically called app libraries. That is the actual correct name for a folder that is created by an app and associated with an app. It is called an app library. But I will say that it functions just like a folder. You can move things around in it. You can create subfolders in it. All of those things. It's just that you didn't create it. It's part of the app that you have. And so you're going to see some of those app libraries as well. And they're really not going to be detectable as anything different other than the fact that they're the app name. But I've even created some like that where they weren't already. So let's go ahead into iCloud Drive up at the top here.
Search. Locate iCloud Drive.
Double
Select
tap.
ACEWI.
Okay, now we've double tapped. At the top left is
Browse. Back button.
our back button. To the right is
iCloud Drive. More button.
the title heading, and then our more button. All right, let's go to the right.
Search. Dictate. ACEWAIOS. Folder. Uploaded. 14 items. Shared by me. Art Studio Pro. Folder. Uploaded. 5 items.
Now,
Actions available.
these are folders that I have. Art Studio Pro, I believe, was created by the app Art Studio Pro, which I have on my iPad, but this is so it's technically an app library, but it looks like a folder.
ATLC Project. Attachments and photos. Folder. 96 items.
See, I have a
Actions available.
folder called Attachments and Photos. So any kind of file that I might get as an attachment, or a photo that I don't actually want in the photo library, but I need to work with it for some reason, these are all in this folder.
Audio Exchange. Folder. 16 items. Shared by Clifton Miller.
Okay,
Actions available.
there's a folder that Trainer Cliff has shared with me. We use that because we work together on many projects, and so sometimes we will create a collaborative podcast, and one of us will edit it and put the finished product in the audio exchange folder, or other types of things that we need to share for the business purposes, and we put them in there. Now you heard it say shared. So that confirms for you that it is possible to share an entire folder. It's also possible to share individual files as well. And we sort of looked at this same process when we looked at notes, but we're going to talk about it here again. So let's just look at some of these other folders.
Audio files. Folder. 568 items.
Now,
Actions available.
that's a folder that I have myself, which is an audio files folder, and I have lots of others. I mean, we just keep going through this.
Book files. Brushes. Church messages. Clips 1. Daddy website. Desktop. Documents. Downloads.
Desktop and documents came from my Mac. Downloads actually is the universal location. I have all of my downloads from iPad, iPhone, and Mac going into that folder in iCloud Drive.
Extra memos. GarageBand for iOS. GarageBand for Mac OS. GarageBand. Grocery. Josh website. Keynote. Cliff logos. Left Behind. Logic Pro for messages. Molly video. Music memos. Numbers. Pages. PDFs. Photomator.
You get the idea, right? Lots and lots of folders, okay? Now, if we want to open one, we simply double tap it to open it up. But you also heard that there are actions available, which means that the rotor has many actions in it. I prefer to use the long press menu on these. So if I want to get more details about a folder or something, I can long press on it, and we can hear lots and lots of choices. And we can do the same thing with individual files too, not just with folders. So I'm going to open up a folder here. Let's go to my audio files folder.
Page 3 of 6. Page 2 of 6.
Back up closer to the top.
Downloads. Brushes. Book. Audio files. Audio file. O1 Rider GM.
And I have stuff that I can play here. Just got to find something that's not copyrighted.
12 audio.
But I have, what's this? Oh, I can open something that just makes a sound.
415 2018. Page 9 of page 11. Page 12. Concepts. Concept.
Okay, these are lots and lots of audio files.
Concepts.
Past all that.
Course ending. Course intro.
All right, here's our
course intro. COVID.
Yeah, there's our
COVID test.
Our audio for the course intro and outro. We could use that. I'm trying to find some kind of fun sound effect here. I don't think this is where I have most of my sound effects stored, though. That's the thing. So I might need to go to a different folder. There's got to be something in here, doesn't there? You'd think.
Concepts 1
Go back up here.
Page 20 concepts 1
let's
concepts
see.
never 6 concepts heal concepts call Apple TV 2 Apple
Do I have any sounds here?
backpack dunching BCFS Birds Lemon Bite Crunch Book Music and
All right.
Book Music
Well,
Buzz Audio Call with Kathy Book
we
Music.
could use one of these. Okay. Let's do this. This is a royalty-free music clip that I used for the beginning of my Titanic book that I wrote. I also have the ending audio, which is music, and it's also royalty free, so I can play both of these without any copyright issues. Let's do the intro.
Book Music Intro Titanic Audio 4/30/25 2 megabytes.
Okay. So if I want to double tap it,
available book list button.
Now, audio files by default do not have a specific app that they open up in. You can get them into an app from the share sheet, but by default, they're going to open in just what's known as a quick look interface, where you can find the file, you can access the file, but it's not in a particular app. Now, there's an option in the context menu to always open it with a particular app if you want to do that, but I don't do that. I just leave it the way it is, and it brings up a quick look screen.
List button.
Swipe to the right.
Book Music Intro Titanic Close button.
There's the close button. Let's keep going.
Play button.
We can play this thing and find out what it sounds like.
Files list button.
And if you've ever heard my Titanic book, or if you ever do listen to it, you'll find out that that's how the... Oh, I'm going to pause that. But that's how the beginning sounds. It just has the narrator speaking over top of it, the title of the book, and so on. So that's the intro. Now, while we're in this quick look screen, we have the play, pause, we have the close button. We also have
share button.
A share button. And this is going to allow us to share it with other people, as well as opening it up in a specific app. Some files will automatically open in a specific app when you double tap on them. And again, this is customizable through the long press menu. But right now, let's just go into share and see some of our options in the share sheet.
Image, a white logo on image, a white logo.
All right, at the very top, the first thing I want you to see.
Book Music Intro Titanic. Send copy button.
There is a very important button here. You're going to determine whether you want to send a copy of this thing when you're sharing it, or whether you want to collaborate with someone when you share it. Right now, it is set to send copy. It's telling you the current state of it, not what you can change it to. So it's reading what the current state is, which is send copy. If you want to collaborate, you have to double tap on this, and a little context menu will appear. Like so.
Collaborate button. Selected. Send copy button. Dismiss context menu.
Okay, I'll just dismiss that, but you see, if I wanted to collaborate, I would double tap on that collaborate button, and then this thing would say collaborate instead of send copy. The options that you're going to have in the share sheet will differ depending on which one is selected. So if you ever look in your in your share menu or share sheet and you don't see all of the options for a particular folder or file that you're expecting to see, check and see whether it's set to collaborate or send copy. There's good reasons to do either one. So collaborate allows me to work with others on a particular file. And certain ones like pages, documents, numbers, spreadsheets, keynote presentations, and even GarageBand audio projects, they can be collaborative in such a way that they can be worked on by both people or multiple people even in real time. And so with a pages document, for example, I could share that with 5 or 6 people, more than that even if I wanted to. We could all be editing that document. We would see each other's position in the document and immediately, instantly see the changes that other people have made. Now, certain files like this finished audio file, which is already mixed, it's already, as we say in the audio world, bounced down, you know, and it's, in other words, it's not multiple tracks or anything, it's all just compressed to, I think this is an M4A probably, could be an MP3, I didn't look, but it's, I think, an M4A. So in a case like that, it's not really collaborative in the sense that you could, you know, actually work on it with others, but you could still share it collaboratively, which means that someone else is going to be able to download it through a link that you send them. And once they choose the link, they'll have access to it as long as you leave the file there. If you remove the file, it gets removed from them as well. And again, you can do this with entire folders, not just files. So it is especially useful because, for example, Trainer Cliff and I share that audio exchange folder, the whole folder. So anything he puts in it, I immediately see. Anything I put in it, he immediately sees. You can also control the access. So like Cliff has given me complete access to that folder. That means I have read-write access. So I can copy stuff to it. I can also delete it. I can delete stuff from that. So if I'm mad at Trainer Cliff one day and I decide I'm just going to mess with him and start deleting his files, I'm kidding, of course, but theoretically someone could do that and it would delete from the other devices. If you don't want that to happen, you can change the access of a collaborative file. There's a button in there and it'll say, like, by default, I think it says anyone with the link or only people with the link can read and write or something like that. And then there's a forward, it says, and you can double tap on that button and you can choose, right? Is there read-only access or is there read and write access? And also, is it only people with the link who can open the file? Because the other factor is that maybe you want to share this publicly. And if you choose that option, you definitely want to make sure it's read-only. And I think by default it might become read-only, but I don't remember. So you definitely want to check that if you're sharing it as a public link. But when you have a public link, you could share it on a website, on Facebook, by email, whatever you want, and anybody with the link can actually access the file. The other option is people you invite, only invited people, right? And that's the other one. So it's people with the link, anyone with the link rather, or it's only invited people. So with invited people, you have to specifically invite them one by one and get a unique link for each person. And that even means you don't really want to share a file in a group conversation. If you have a group, you want to share the file with each individual person separately. They're each going to get a unique link. They can open it, and then it will open and it'll put it in their Files app in iCloud Drive. And as long as you leave it there where you have it, then they can access it. And again, you can control whether they have read-only or whether they have read-write privileges. And that is the collaboration aspect of this. Right now, this file is set to send copy instead of collaborate. So I could change it if I wanted to, but I'm going to leave it on send copy, and we're going to look at some of the options in this share sheet together.
iPad 4, AirDrop, button.
All right, it wants to AirDrop because my iPad is right here. The iPad is what I'm using, praise God, for this Zoom session. So the iPad is very much awake, and the iPhone sees it and thinks that I may want to AirDrop to it. There'd be no logical reason to do that because it's in iCloud, so I can already access it from the iPad. But maybe it's somebody else who's sitting here and I can AirDrop it to them. AirDrop is local, peer-to-peer file sharing. What does that mean? Well, it means that both people can access, you can share this with them without having to use messages or mail or whatever. The file size limits are much bigger. You just send it directly to them. They can access it. And basically, they just have to be within close proximity of you. You don't even have to be on the same Wi-Fi network because AirDrop creates its own kind of on-the-fly ad hoc network. And so you can share even if you're not on the same Wi-Fi network. There are some caveats. You do both have to be signed into iCloud, not the same iCloud account. It doesn't have to be both of you in the same, it could be anybody, but you both have to be signed into iCloud on your devices. And you both have to have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth turned on, and I'm pretty sure you both have to have two-factor authentication enabled for your Apple account. You can then choose in your AirDrop settings whether you want to accept AirDrops from contacts only, whether you want to accept AirDrops from everyone, but there's a limit on that. It's like everyone for 10 minutes or something, or you can turn receiving off completely. And there's a new option in AirDrop now where you can get a code to share, to connect with someone because you don't really want them in your contacts or something, but you need to share something with them. So that's new in 26.2. So you have these different options, different ways of sharing, and that's how AirDrop works. You just double tap on their device name, they'll get a notification you're trying to send them something, they can accept it, and it's good to go. And it is a great feature. Again, you just have to both be in close proximity of each other, and that is AirDrop. Now, the rest of the options on this top row are sharing suggestions based upon different factors. People I've talked to recently, people that it thinks I might send this type of file to, and so on and so forth.
iPad Cliff, Kylie Volbrecht, messages, Carson Volbrecht, messages, Jessica Volbrecht, Kale Etzel, Mom, Marissa Reeder, Fred Baca, Tisa Schreiber, Delaney Kell, Megan Wizzle, Gail Green, AirDrop, button.
Now we have the next section, which are the options of how we can share this. We have AirDrop, messages,
mail, button, voice memos, button.
Because this is an audio file, we can absolutely open it in voice memos, and I think they have to be M4A to be compatible with the voice memos app. I don't think you can do that with MP3s, but I told you I thought this was an M4A. So I can bring this into the voice memos app if I want to.
Notes, button.
I can bring it into notes or journal to use as an attachment for a particular note or a particular journal entry, and I can use the audio file.
Freeform, button.
Same thing with Freeform.
Messenger, button.
Facebook Meta Messenger.
Amber, button.
The cooking app Amber, I'm not sure why that actually is there. I never used it that way.
Gift, button. LG thank you. Krog, button. More, button.
And then the more button, if I don't see all the options of where I want to share this, there's something maybe I'm expecting that's not in that main category, I can hit more.
More, button. Messenger.
We can pick up kind of where we left off.
Amber, Gift, LG, Krog, ChatGPT, Truth Social, Music Speed, iMovie, Clips, Schoology, Zoom.
See, there's a lot more options now. iMovie, Clips. All right, let's scrub out of that. And
image, a white logo.
We're back to the main share sheet. There's one more section at the bottom.
Copy.
We'll go back here to the more button. Okay, go to the right now.
Copy, button. Add to new quick note, button. Add tags, button.
Add tags. I told you that option would be there.
More, button.
And there's more again. So we'll go into this more.
New quick note, save to file. Add tags, save to files, button.
Well, it already is in files, but you can save it to files here again.
Use as ringtone, button.
Use as ringtone. Very easy way to create ringtones in iOS 26, simply using the Files app. The caveat is it has to be the right length already. If it's not, it won't do like GarageBand does and say, do you want to just use the first 30 seconds? No, it'll just reject it. If it's not 30 seconds or less, in fact, I always advise people do 28 or 29 seconds just to be safe. And if it's longer than that, it'll just give you an error and say it can't use that ringtone. It's too long. GarageBand is definitely more flexible and more feature-rich when it comes to creating ringtones. But the Files app is definitely easier because GarageBand has quite a learning curve. It's very accessible. It's brilliantly accessible. Works great with VoiceOver. And it's a powerful app that Apple could have charged easily hundreds of dollars for, but they don't, praise God. They give it to you for free. But it's a recording studio. It's an audio editor. It's, about 5 different things in one. I didn't really count to see if it's 5, but you know what I mean. It's several things in one. Serves multiple purposes. And because of that, there's a lot going on that screen. We cover it a little bit in our iPad course in the spring, and we are going to offer an audio editing course at some point here. where we may teach parts of GarageBand to you as well. But the point is that because there's so much complexity to that app, a lot of people just don't want to learn it, or they are concerned that they might not be able to learn it, which most people can. But if they want to, they can create ringtones more easily by using the Files app. The issue becomes if the file's not already shorter than 30 seconds, it's not going to work. So what would you do if you didn't want to have to use a third-party app, or you didn't want to have to use GarageBand either? What would you do if you wanted to do it this way, but the file was too long? Well, as long as it is an M4A, remember I said it can't be an MP3, as long as it's an M4A, you can bring it into voice memos. And when it's in voice memos, if all you need to do is trim the file from the beginning or the end, take a little bit off the beginning, take a little bit off the end, you can use voice memos to create a file that is the correct length, and then save it back to files, or even use the ringtone option is available in voice memos as well. From the share sheet that the voice memos app has, you can say use as ringtone. So that's a very useful option. This is a brand new option in iOS 26. Again, it's very, very basic. No options, no controls. It's just use as ringtone, and then it saves it right to your ringtones library, and it opens up in the settings app, and it's one of the sounds there now. Again, in GarageBand, you have a lot more control over how it works, what happens with it when you save it to your, when you make it a ringtone. You get that option as if you were buying it from Apple, where it says, like, you know, set as default ringtone, assigned to contact, use as default text tone, all these different choices. And of course, you can do that manually later, but I'm just pointing out that it's very, very basic when you do it through the Files app. And it's not a criticism, it's just the reality. So you just choose use as ringtone, and you're done. It takes you into your sound and haptic settings, and you can do whatever you want with it. So that's how use as ringtone works, but you got to make sure it's less than 30 seconds. And if it's not, and you want to use voice memos to trim it, you got to make sure it's an M4A. And if you don't have it as an M4A, there are great audio file converters out there that I would possibly be able to recommend to you, but nevertheless, this is how it works. So use as ringtone.
Use as ringtone button.
Little side trip for you there.
Describe with Be My Eyes. Download file. Edit actions.
And
button.
edit action, so you can change what appears where in the list.
Edit
I'm going to
image.
scrub out of this thing.
Button.
Now, I think
Close. Button.
we'll hit close.
Close.
Now,
iCloud.
I will say this. The share menu, as you can imagine, and as we've talked about with other things, the share menu items or the share sheet items will vary depending on what apps you have installed on your device. So I had, you know, things like to open the audio file in Clips, in iMovie, in Grok, you know, ChatGPT. What else was there that, something about Be My Eyes, which again, I don't know why you would use an audio file there, but nevertheless, you know, so some of these options you may not have if you don't have a particular app installed on your device. Now, the other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to work with a file and show you the long press menu on a file. So let's find another file here.
iCloud Drive. Call with Kathy Vollebrecht.
I wanted the ending now for the Titanic music.
Buzz. Book music ending. 4/10/21.
All right, so we had the intro. Now we're going to do the ending. I'll play it in a minute. Let's long press it, which you know what that means. Double tap and hold to see what all the options are in the context menu on a particular folder or file.
Copy button.
Your first option is copy. That's going to put it in the clipboard.
Move button.
Your next option is move. I'll explain the difference. Basically, copy puts it in the clipboard, and then you have to go to your destination and paste it. I'll show you how. Move allows you to literally move it without copying it. It's going to let you pick the destination right away, or the target folder, and it's going to move it there. Now, I will say this about that. If you are moving a file or a folder from one service to another, such as iCloud Drive to Dropbox, or the other way around, for example, or Google Drive to iCloud Drive, even if you choose move, it's actually going to make a copy. And it's going to tell you that when you do it. But because you're moving from one file service to another, it is going to make a copy of it even if you choose move. But if you are doing it within the same service, like iCloud Drive folder to iCloud Drive folder or something, it's going to actually do what it says, and it's going to move it and not make a copy. So copy will make a copy, but you have to paste it manually. Move will let you choose where you're going to move it to.
Share button.
Share, well, that's the same thing we already looked at from within inside the quick look interface of the file when we opened it up, the share menu.
Download now button.
Okay, download now, because basically you have two ways of accessing files from iCloud Drive, and the device will manage the storage automatically. So basically what happens is you can access the file from iCloud, it will download on demand, and when it's finished, it'll stay downloaded until more space is needed, and it'll remove the download for you automatically. In this case, I've not opened this file on this iPhone, or at least not recently, so it's not downloaded. So there's a download now option. I also can double tap on the file to open it instead of long pressing it, and that would have caused it to download as well. But again, if I don't use it for a while or for different reasons, it may remove the download, and it'll still be there in iCloud. It's not deleting the file, you understand, but it may remove it from the device itself. And now there's another option to the right.
Keep downloaded button.
If I want to force the file to always stay downloaded no matter what and not go to iCloud only, and this would be important if I'm doing offline stuff, and then I can choose keep downloaded. All right, let's keep going.
Quick look button.
Quick look, well, we already saw what quick look is.
Open with button.
Open
Collapsed.
with, and notice it's
Double
collapsed.
tap. Open with button. Collapsed. Double tap to expand.
This allows you to choose what app is used either one time or always to open this kind of file. Again, this is an M4A audio file as far as I know, just like the book intro. And we can say that I want this one time only or every time to open with a specific app. So that's what open with does.
Get info button.
Get info, just as you'd imagine, will show you the file type, the kind of file. It'll show you the size of the file. It'll show you the creation dates and all that sort of stuff. Get info, okay?
Rename button.
We can rename it. That's easy to understand, I think.
Compress button.
We can compress it, and that will put it into a zip archive, so you can send multiple files, or even a folder. You can't attach a folder to an email, but you can attach a zip file, so that's what this will create.
Duplicate button.
Duplicate will just make a second copy of the file in the exact same location. It'll append like the number 2 to it, or the word copy or something.
New folder with item button.
New folder with item. You can create a new folder with this item directly.
Tags button.
There's our tags we can work with.
Delete button.
Delete the file.
Dismiss context
And of course
menu
dismiss.
button.
So the one I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, because I'm going to show you how to paste this somewhere else. That was back up at the top of the menu.
Dismiss context menu. Copy button.
And copy, we're going to just double tap.
iCloud Drive back button.
I'm going to hit back. And I'm going to share this with Trainer Cliff. So let's put it in Audio Exchange.
Audio exchange. Full audio
Praise
options
God.
button.
Now, this is already a shared folder, so there's an options button, but normally it would be the share
Dictate
thing,
options button. Shared by Clifton Miller.
right? Now, how do we paste that file into this folder? It's already in the clipboard, so maybe you're thinking use the rotor and go to edit and go to paste. However, that is not going to work.
Canary, no
Why?
dismiss.
Well, because that option is only for pasting text. That is not going to paste files. It's not moving objects. It's just pasting whatever you can put in the clipboard, usually text. Maybe it would do it with like maybe a photo or something, depending. But it's not going to do it with files. To paste a file into another location, we need to get a special sort of hidden context menu. And the way we do it, and you're just going to have to memorize this because there's really no voiceover hint to tell you this, you have to long press the status bar at the bottom of the screen. Double tap and hold on the bottom. I'll show you where it is. So the easiest way to find it is touch the bottom left of the screen to get to the first tab.
Tab bar. 2:56 p.m. Status recents. Tab. 1 of 3.
Now don't double tap that, but swipe to the left.
Sync with iCloud.
Synced with iCloud. That's part of the status bar. Go to the left one more time.
16 items.
That's the status bar. It tells you how many items are in the current folder, or maybe the folder is empty, whatever. I think either one of those either one of those spots should work, either the where it says the syncing status or the item count, but I'm just going to use the item count because that's how I typically do it. And I'm going to long press, double tap and hold.
Files, new folder, button.
Our first option is new folder.
New paste, button.
And there's paste. And let's look at what else there is.
Move item here.
Move item here. That's another way of doing a cut and paste instead of a copy, right? As we know it, it's just going to move the file and then
scan documents.
That's another way to scan documents.
Get info.
Get info.
Dismiss context menu.
All right, so we're going to go back to paste.
Move item paste button.
And we're going to double tap.
iCloud Drive back button.
And now if I look in this folder that I share with Trainer Cliff, or that he shares with me, that we share with each other, we should see book, what was it called? Book music ending or something like that. I started with the word book, so let's look.
Book music ending.
There it is.
Audio editing workshop. Book music ending. 4/10. Faith School 2. Book
See,
music.
it's right there. Book music ending. And let's double tap it.
List button.
And let's play it.
Book close.
Because it's
button.
royalty free, so why not?
Play button. Files list button.
So that is at the very end of the Titanic book. And you can, again, you can work with these things, you know, in any way that we chose. I don't think I have this tagged. So let's go over here.
Book close button.
And let's fix that.
Book music ending.
Let's double tap and hold.
File.
Let's go down to the bottom.
Delete tags button.
And let's double tap on tags.
Close
and let's
button.
make sure we select Titanic.
Tags Faith. The Vessel. JSB Faith Fem Podcast TT Purple. Gray Space Corp.
Well, we might want it someday for some TTJ thing too. So let's
Purple TTJ.
Let's select that one.
Selected TTJ.
And let's select Titanic.
Blue or Titanic, but selected Titanic.
Now you'll notice that they're both selected.
Add new tag.
You'll notice at the very bottom.
Add new tag button.
There's a button to add a new tag as well. We're done with this, so we're just
tags heading close button.
Gonna close it. All right, so now
book music ending.
It is tagged, and that's how you work with the Files app. It's very, very simple. It's very straightforward, and it really does give you full access to everything you need to successfully organize your files, to create new folders. Do you remember where the new folder option was, or did I show you? Basically, let's go to the more...
Files.
Well, it was in that long press status bar menu.
Audio exchange.
But I think it's also at the top in the More button.
More button. Select new folder.
Yeah,
button.
there it is. So you can create a new folder that way as well.
Dismiss context menu.
Okay.
Button.
I don't
iCloud.
really have too much else to say about the Files app. I mean, I really like it. I use it. And most apps will have the option to save things to files. Sometimes that's not what you want to do. Sometimes you want to open things up in another app or share them with people or something. But there are definitely times that you want to save something to files. And so I don't always use it. It's not like some people just always do that and then do whatever they're going to do. No, I don't do that. I do whatever needs to be done. But there's lots of times where I do want to do that. So I just save it to files. Now, again, if we had something where it was, already set to open in a particular app, it would just do that. And I could also just go to that app. Many of the Apple apps especially, and some third-party ones, have the Files app framework sort of inside their app. So if you go into Pages, for example, you can actually access kind of the Files app from within Pages and do all of those same things and create new folders and everything. So you can open Pages and then open your document. That's called the document browser, or it's called the document, I think it's document browser, yeah. And we teach that in the iPad course, but you can definitely do that. But you can also do it from the Files app. So, again, if I were to find
iCloud
something,
Drive. Back.
let's
Audio
just go back
more. iCloud Drive.
and let's go down to Recents.
Tab more. Button. Recents. Tab. Selected. Recents.
And let's
tab.
pick something that will open up in Numbers or Pages.
VO2000. GMT. Tax info 25. Pages file 12/8/25.
So if I just double tap, now I can still long press that, but if I just double tap that,
Pages. Cat loading.
see, it opened up in Pages and it's loading the document. It'll be ready in a moment.
Body. More.
It actually
button.
is ready.
Format. Undo. Insert object. Undo. More. Canvas. Body. Tax info 2025.
This is a Pages document. So I'll go back.
Back button. Pages.
Now I'm in Pages, and we can 4-finger swipe to the right to go back to Files.
Files. Recents.
I can go home from Files.
iMovie.
Okay.
Double tap to open.
Now, we have lots on the agenda for the rest of this week yet. And so we're very excited about that. And remember that next week on Tuesday, December the 23rd, we want your questions about VoiceOver, about Apple apps, about Apple products, devices, accessories, all these different types of things. That's our final session next Tuesday, December the 23rd. So make sure you come prepared with your questions. But we have 3 more sessions before that yet. So be ready for lots and lots more. But right now, we're going to see if Trainer Cliff is here, and we're going to talk to Trainer Sarah, who I assume is here as well, and see if they have anything to say about the Files app, and then we're going to take your questions.
Thanks for joining today's session. Didn't get your question answered? Have an additional comment or feedback? Email us info@ttjtech.biz or info@stirritup.com. And remember, stir is spelled with a U. That's STURITUP.com. Or check out our websites for additional resources. That's ttjtech.biz or stirritup.com. And remember, subscribe to the newsletter when you're there. That way, you don't miss out on any upcoming announcements or events. Thanks for joining us. God bless, and see you next time.